I'm back here with you again another Saturday. This time it's Saturday the 5th day of March 2016, and I am down here just below the Yami Hill as I normally start my visit in this area. And what you are now seeing here is the lane of the pipes heading down towards the Stubbs Bay end. Now we have the Yami Hill in the back of us, which they are still taking down. And if you recall, you would have seen up to what point north of the Yami Hill where they would have gotten to with these pipes. What is happening now, they have skipped out that area where they're taking down the Yami Hill because obvious they can't do any work there, and now they have come on the southern side of the Yami Hill outside of this fencing that we have here, and starting to lay down the pipes heading towards the Stubbs Bay. So as soon as the Yami Hill is taken down and the pipes can be run in that area, we'll have some work done there just after that. But this is what we have taken place down here now in regards to the work taking place at the Argyle site in relation to the lane of the fuel pipes that will be taking the fuel from the Stubbs Bay end up to the fuel tanks at the fuel farm just above the area where we have the cargo terminal building. I am here with you now at the south end of the runway where we have that drop down. Now last week when we passed here we saw the meshes on the ground, and this week now we come back here, we are seeing some meshes up in position. And I'm traveling along the flat area just below the level of the runway on the outer side of the fencing, as you probably will know by now. But as I look across, I am seeing some areas where we have some spaces, and I am not quite sure why this is so. But those who are doing the work know the reason why they have these space like that. For example, right here on the ground we just have no concrete was poured here, but the boxing in place, and here we have a space, no mesh in position here. I don't know why. It couldn't be that they didn't have the time to do it. It looks to me as if there's going to be something different or something special going to take place there, but I don't know yet for sure. But I am just giving you an idea as to what has taken place down here regarding the fencing over the past week. We still have 2 more sections here to do, as you can see the space there where we have. But what I have noticed, the barbed wire has been put in place at the top of the fencing where we have that fork at the top of the pole there, and you are seeing what has taken place here. So what is likely to happen is that very soon I won't be able to come on the outside and get back on the inside unless I start to do my tour from the inside. But as time progresses, all this area down here will be blocked off and nobody will be able to get from one end to the next coming on the airport side. And very soon, as we all will know, the admittance of people coming onto the site will be curtailed, and people won't be able to come, visitors to the site won't be able to come on the site as freely as we are doing now that the construction work is going up. As soon as the fencing are in place, all visiting to the site, on top of the site, on the area of the site itself, will be stopped. Now as I am below here, I'm hearing a song above me, and I would have seen it since I was coming down on the site. You remember those 2 drills that we had working all the way up in the year last year, drilling on those hills, and we usually have them breaking down. I don't know if this is one of them or if this is a second drill that they would have gotten. It looks to me as if it is that yellow drill that used to be breaking down all the time, and they had. Now it is heading probably towards the Maconiam Hill. The other drill is on the hill itself already, so most likely might have the two drills working. The fact that it is moving and going in that direction tells us that it is actually working. So we are going to see what takes place later on in the day when I make my trip back down on this side, and I will be able to show you better if the drill is actually on the hill during the walk, because I'm not too sure exactly where it is heading right now, but you will get to see it later on. So this is it from down here at the bottom side, the south end of the airport site, the side towards the Stubbsby area where we have some fencing work done over the past week. I am here on the southeastern side, on the outer side of the fencing. Now you are seeing that all the meshes are up in place here, so that now that I'm on the outside, I am not able to crawl back over on the inside from this end. Last week I could have done that because they still had more work on this fencing to do. I am seeing a small area actually between those two poles that you have there, as you can see right there right now. Well, I could go through that space, but I am just showing you the volume of work that has taken place here over the past week. So all the fencing in this area, except for this small piece we're looking at here, right there, as you can see, one of the meshes you will have to cut them to get it to fit in that small area, cut it to the side. So this is the work we have here on the southeastern side of the fencing, and starting all the way from up just in the area where we have the stone crushing plant, coming all the way down, going all to the south side and back over on the southwestern side. We have fencing work has been done in this area. So all that is left to be done is that small piece between where you see they are building, they are digging the trench there for the pipes, the fuel pipes, and to link up back with that area down there where they have already started on the south end, and going up from the Maconiam Hill back towards the Breadfruit Gutter area. That area is left to be done down here on the south side. Well, I'm here at the back of the Fort Hill, looking down at the south end where they're doing the backfilling. We have just had some rain out here, which caused me to have to rest a bit in my recording in order to protect the camera. The good thing about it, when I come here, I usually walk with my rain cloak because I do not know where the rain will meet me. So I always come prepared for the rain. It is not one of the days that I do enjoy coming on the site when it is raining, because you cannot really get the shots that you need. But nevertheless, I'm here and I'm going to continue to try to see how much of the work that I will get for this week. It looks as though it may hold up, I'm not quite sure, but we had rain overnight, so the place here, the good thing about it though is that the earth is damped, so we won't have that blowing off the dust that is usually the case out here when the place is dry. So here am I on top of the Fort Hill, looking back at the Stubbsby, and there isn't any work taking place down here on that hill, that area right now, but we have work going on the Maconiam Hill, of course. So I'm going over there from here, and I'm going to give you a little view of what is taking place over there. Well, I'm back on the inside of the perimeter fence, and you see that little space there? There's where I had to pass through. But you see, when they block it up during this week coming, what am I going to do? there are other areas that I can pass, you know, to get back on the site, because up at the stone crushing area, no fencing has gone up there as yet. You see that area where you're seeing that yellow truck up there. But I will go up close and I'll give you a better idea. So here is the point to where the fencing on the eastern side, not the southeastern side, has stopped. Now from here, go back up where we have the stone crushing plant. Just north of the stone crushing plant, at that roadway, if you're coming from Warrico, you could come around where the old sugar mill is and come back onto the side. So the fencing on that section has stopped just below the area where we have the road to come back onto the side. So between that area and here, that is the fencing that is left to be done on the eastern side down here, close to the area where we have the stone crushing plant. Now trucks are taking stone from over the Yami Hill area and they are dumping it on top of the backside of this foothill here. As you can see, one just came down, one just come down from up there, and there is another one going up. Right there below where that house is where the fencing has stopped for the time being. And as you can see, the road that comes from the Warrico area that is coming back down on the side. So all from that area coming all the way down here, that width of the area where the stone crushing plant is, coming all the way back down, as you are seeing here in the camera, that is the area that is left to be fenced on the eastern side. But this will not be done until all the stones are being crushed apparently, and then the mill will have to be dismantled and taken down before we can have any sort of fencing work. Last week they had some lights fit up in these, but this week there isn't any, so apparently they were only putting them up to test them. So good thing that they are not here, because the work is still going on, and you know, if these lights remain inside, they could be damaged. The Yami Hill is coming down nicely, as you can see. There was some blasting here over this week gone, so we have now the caterpillars pushing them with the loose rocks after the blasting. And on top of the hill up there, we have one of the drills. Actually, there are two drills down here right now. This is the last one they have acquired here, and it's on the hill doing some drilling in those hard rocks. And we have the other drill on the flat area where we have some rocks that need to be blasted. But when I get closer to that other drill, I will show you what is going on. But this is what we have happening here right now on the side of the Yami Hill, where they're doing the blasting work, where they're doing the removal of those rocks, so that we can have a clear pathway for the fencing and the fuel pipes that will be running on this side. So there you see the other drill. This is supposed to be one of the other drills that we used to see drilling in the hills. We had a kind of whitish one and this yellow one. You see it is drilling now these boulders that will be broken down into smaller pieces later on and probably taken to the stone crushing plant to be crushed. So next week when we come back here, we wouldn't see all these big boulders. These boulders came down off of the Makoni hillside here. As you can see, this massive piece of rock in front of us, those are solid stones we see there, and the drill is on the hill that will be drilling into this rock very soon to bring down this hillside here. But on the flat down here, we have one of the old drills that used to be breaking down all the time. We see that it is functioning right now, and you're hearing the sound of it as it drills into this boulder here right on the ground. Now there you see the fuel pipe is coming down, even though the fencing are not coming down as well, but I guess they are taking the route that they are supposed to take with this fuel pipe. Probably they have a time period when they're supposed to complete this work. The only hindrance so far is the hill on the back of me here, which is the Maconiam hill. They have gotten to the point where you're seeing here, but they will have to move that hill first before these pipes can continue across. And you would have seen where they started laying the pipe down on the south. These pipes will be passing along the back side here of the fencing, going across to that same hill that they're taking down there and connect back to the pipes down there. But until this hill is taken down, these cannot go much further beyond that hillside there. But they are doing the work as far as they can take it until this hillside here is taken down. I didn't visit here last week because on my way down, I happened to got in a conversation with a worker and that held me up. So I wasn't able to cover this area last week because my plan was when I coming back down, I would pass on the eastern side. But I have to come here today so that I can get a close-up look. Even though I didn't pass there last week, I could have seen the work done here from over on the western side, but I wanted to come closer so I can get to see for myself. So this is what we have now here with the work here on the fencing. And this area where you're seeing here is where vehicles used to use once to get to the Warrico Beach before they built that access road just on the Johnson Hill there. They used to come down from the main road where we have the fuel farm, come across section of the apron and come down just in that area over there where we have the terminal, the control tower, and come across the runway here and go up on this side. Now we have a drain here, which something will have to be done to this drain in order. I don't know how they're going to do it because there is a space underneath there which they will have to block up to prevent animals, dogs and other things from coming through there. So at least they know how they will do it, but that is left to be seen because this area will have to be protected so that wild animals won't come on the site, cross the runway when we have aircraft landing. But I just want to show you the work so far done here. We have a space here, as you can see, and that was left there for a particular reason. People who are working in that area, in that house up there, and probably have connection with the lab area, walk from the lab to this building and from this building to the lab, and they must need an easy access to get to the house there. So that's the reason why we have this space left out there in the fencing, but later on that will be blocked. You see all this stretch here now, the fencing is in place, so you are having an idea as to how much fencing work has been done and how much is left to be done on this site. Quite a lot of it was taking place on the northeastern and the northwestern side last week. I am not quite sure how much of it has been done since that past visit, but when I get up there, you're going to get some idea as to how much work has taken place up there. There isn't any asphalt work taking place today. I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's because of the rain. But what we are looking at right in front of us here, we can see some was taking place. Some asphalt work took place last week or in this week leading up to today. And this is the area you're looking at here on the section of the cargo terminal section. And as you can see, and you probably know by now, when the cargo aircraft comes in, it's going to taxi all the way down to this area down here and over to that side where we have the fresh asphalt and to the cargo terminal building. And you see now we have all the stones laid out here on this where we have the Alpha taxiway, and that brown patch in the center there, that brown patch seems to be going to be a grass area and the other areas around it's going to be asphalting. Where I'm at here on top of the hill just below the control tower, looking across in the area where we have the cargo terminal building, in that area where we have the apron just in front of the cargo terminal building where they had to stop the work on the apron. I can see workmen there now laying down the sidings for the concrete works, to start the concrete works there on that section of the apron going towards the cargo terminal building. And on the side up there, just at the back of the electrical substation, there is some activity there also. There is a piece of equipment there taking down all the dirt and rubble there that come down off of that hillside. And I want to believe that that section over there on the hill is going to be done similar to this area where I'm at standing, giving you that gentle slope going back down there where you can walk from the bottom, come up to the top up here where I'm at, because this is exactly what I would have done to get to the top here, walking from the bottom area down there where we have those asphalt work just done and coming up on the hill here. So this is what we have taken place, but when I get a little further over, I will give you a better idea as to what is going on. We have the surveyors there, and the guys are putting down the moldings in position as the surveyor give them the okay. So here you have a closer look as to what is going on here. The guys are now doing the preparation work for the concreting of this area, carrying it up towards the cargo terminal building. So very soon we're going to see some activity here regarding to the concrete works. As you can see, the preparation has already been started, because they would have finished the northern side and now they are down here doing this side. Like I've told you last week, that the next area of concrete work they will have to do is down in this area. Now you're looking at this wall. Remember the retaining wall we have coming all the way from the north side of the building, the site up there coming right down here to the cargo terminal building. What you're seeing here right now is a separation wall, and let me see if I can explain it. This wall is coming across here to the building, and where the guys are there standing, there is a gate, and this wall is to separate the cargo terminal building from the rest of the airport. So I hope you understand what I'm telling you about. So the boxing is going up. They've already started the concrete wall, as you can see on the side there, and they are putting up more of it here. I am not sure if the fencing will be passing on top of this wall. I can't say it how it's going to be, but this is what is happening here in this area where we have the work going on close to the cargo terminal building. Now it is almost 12 o'clock, and most of the workmen here are now on their lunch break. You're seeing on the ground the copper wire. This building is well properly grounded, and all around the building you have these wires coming out here as the ground. Because of this, the building is right down into the earth. It is properly grounded so that we wouldn't have any problem of electrocution here when the area probably is wet. So there you have the work. All where you see those mound of dirt is where the copper wire has passed, gone all around the building. As you can see, all back here, going back all the way up there where those guys have been working, we have the copper wire. And from what I have been told, at every column in the building, out of that column on the ground, we have the earth wire grounded into those copper wires. So we have 4 columns here, and from each column we have a ground wire. And if I take you closer over there where the ladder is on the ground, you probably will see the green wire coming down there from the building. And all the way back here also we have wires coming down from the building, connecting to those copper wires. This area you see in here where they're putting down the sidings for the concrete. Where you see the siding, I have learned that this is the furthest area to where they're going to reach with the concrete work. What is going to happen? All this other area where you have the dirt, I understand that is going to be asphalted. Now, if you notice right at the side here, we have some steel extending, and normally when you see steel like this, you will say, okay, there are going to be concrete works. Yes, there's going to be some concrete works here to link to these steel. But what is going to happen? The concrete works is going to be done like up at the north side where we have a step down in the concrete, and on the area where the aircraft's going to pass over from the taxiway onto the apron where we have those step down, over which we have the asphalt work passing. This is what is going to be happening here. Similarly, we're going to have a concrete piece of work stepping down, and over that concrete we're going to have the asphalt work. So all this dirt area you see in here will be asphalted, and it appears as though it is cheaper to do the asphalting work than it is to do the concrete work. And seeing that all this area up here will not be really used by the aircraft, they'll have to be used by the aircraft, probably that is why they're going to do it that way. Over here where we have the dirt patches, there's where we're going to have the dirt patch, sorry, here's where we're going to have the hangars for the aircrafts coming in, domestic areas and so forth. So when they start to put down the structure, they're going to bring their flooring to the level of this area of the runway. And I don't think that their work is going to take any long set of time, because most likely what they're going to just put down is the metal structure, the frames and so forth, and this probably will be an easy work, so it may not take that long as other concrete works will take. So this is what we have now here at the airport site, and as you know, week by week the work continue to progress bit by bit here on the airport site. So I am going to another area to give you a little peep to see exactly what has taken place since my last visit here last week. And we are now in the month of March, and today is the 5th of March. So the drainage work in this area continues. As you can see, they would have just poured some fresh concrete here for this drainage. What is going to happen afterwards, we're going to have the sidings where we're going to put blocks where we have those steels, put the blocks up on the side to make the drain. A lot of the work of this particular drain has been done up further up, so when I get closer up there, I'm going to give you a look to see what has taken place. Well, as you can see, there has been some sort of earthworks here done in this area, and this area is the western side of the apron area, and I am not sure if a road is going to be put here to link up to this area, because what we're looking at here, this space that has been left out, we're going to have some asphalt work done on this side, as you probably know by now, because where you have this concrete works where it is stepped down, they're going to asphalt this area going all the way back to the fencing that will be coming alongside the extension of the 191. But in this area last week we had a piece of equipment doing some earthworks here, and this is what we are left with here now. Now further up we have some concrete works coming up towards that area where we have that light pole. So I am not quite sure as yet if the concrete works will be coming all the way down here. I am saying I'm not quite sure, because if in fact there were going to be concrete works coming all the way down here, one would have seen some steel extending out of this wall here where we have the drainage system on the side here, but there isn't any steel extending out, so I'm not quite sure what sort of work will be done here, but for sure something will be done, and by next week when we come back here, we probably will have a better idea and a better understanding as to what will be taking place here. But like I have told you in a previous video, we are going to have a drainage system coming down in this area here that will be taking the water off the road and off the car park area and bring it down to this drain through this area and link it up to where we have the 191 extension, which starts right in this area where we have the constant flow of the river running through this area. So until next week when we come back in this area, you're going to have an update as to the progress of the work that took place here over the past week. Last week I told you that from the look of this space and to where they would have gotten to with the grill, I told you that they're going to put down some slabs here to cover over this area. Now this week you are seeing the slabs on this section of the drain covering it. Now the metal frames for the cover of this drain actually got to a certain point, as I would have shown you last week, and the point up to which it has gotten to is that point to where the concrete step down on the eastern side of the apron has gotten to, and you are looking at it right before your eyes right there. And here is where the metal frame that links the Alpha taxiway to the apron, where we have a drain passing underneath, this is the point to where they would have gotten. Now there is still a small portion to be done here in this area where we have this machine here, a step down concrete area to come to butt with this drainage system, and all in this other area out here where you're looking at will be asphalted. Now here we are at the area where we have the Alpha taxiway, and I am not quite sure if the asphalt will be coming all the way up to the end, and it doesn't look so because I am seeing some steels placed here, and I want to believe that the taxiway, the Alpha taxiway, is going to end where this concrete works end, where we have a different segment of the work. If you notice, we have concrete slabs covering the drain, and up to this point where we have the concrete ending, and going all the way across we have some steels. Then I will want to believe that the Alpha taxiway will be ending where we have these steels lining across. What will be going on the outer end here, I can't say for sure, but as time progresses, we are going to see what takes place. We are here at the Charlie taxiway, and last week, if you recall, they were putting down some stones here in this area. It wasn't level off as you're seeing it now, but now this week we see it's level. We have the asphalt oil spray being done on it, and very soon we're going to have the asphalt work linking this section here. We are going to have a second layer. There's supposed to be a second layer on this, because when they start to do they already done the runway, and where the runway has passed, there is still another layer to be done on this, the Charlie taxiway, to link to the Alpha taxiway. And there is also still another layer to go on this, because this is the first layer we are looking at, and we see all the level has been reached, and what is left to be done is the asphalting of this area. I am not sure if they're going to do any asphalting today, because I can't say for sure, but the area here has been sprayed with asphalt oil, and most likely we're gonna have some asphalt work, whether today or in the week. So what you're looking at here now, you can see the shoulder area of these Alpha Bravo Charlie taxiways. They have come to the height to where they have to reach. The taxiways will come to the height to where they reach. All the stores are built up. So all that is left to be done now in these areas are what we're going to have to do: the spraying of the oil and the laying of the asphalt, which will be done over the weeks coming. Now we are in the month of March, and I'm not quite sure exactly how much longer these work will take to be completed, but we are getting there. We are working steadily. The work is going on steadily here at the airport site, and not too long from now we are going to see things start happening here at the site. We have had some rain yesterday and while I was here on the site this morning, but the sun is now shining in all its glory. The heat is coming down here on my body. I can feel it, but the breeze is blowing quite well to keep me cool. So it is lunchtime, as you would know by now, and the place is quiet, but I am still here. And when it is 1 o'clock and the workmen start back to work, I will bring you some more footage of what is taking place and where they are doing the work. From the way this work looks, I am only assuming this could very well be a catchment pit, and this pipe probably could be going towards the drain there to take all the water off that will run through this pit, take it through the drain, so that we won't have any water settling up here. You know, like a cesspit where they capture the water and the water goes through the pipe in a soaker. Well, remember we have the drainage system over there, so whenever this area fills up with water, the water will flow through those pipes. I am only assuming based on how it is shaped, because it is shaped with a V in the center and is most likely going towards those manhole there, but I can't say for sure if that is the purpose of it. But I'm not seeing any other way why it would be like that. I don't think it's for cables. I'm not seeing any cables through them, but we're going to see what happens here. But this is an earth area here, and most likely it will be grass. We have about 3 manholes stretching along this dirt area that we have here, and they are not yet covered. They're still open with the PVC pipe heading towards the drainage system here on my right. So that is the only conclusion I can come to why we have those manholes here. Now we are seeing the cable, the conduit for the electrical cables for the lighting of the runway edge. We see them in place here, and all this area where I'm standing is already asphalted. This is the shoulder area, so we are heading towards the north with this work. Quite a long distance of asphalt work has been done, and this is what you're seeing. The cable, the conduit is moving towards northward along the runway strip as we move towards the finishing of the runway and the lighting system here on the airport site. With the second layer of asphalt work already done here on this section of the runway, we have now the area that is taking the Charlie taxiway over into the apron area left to be asphalted. So as you can see, the drawing where the work was done here, we still have this section on the left to be done, all this broad area to take it all the way into the apron just in front of the passenger terminal building over there. So still more asphalting work to be done here on this side. Over on the eastern side we have the complete area, the shoulder going up to a certain point. When I get up there, I'm going to show you what is taking place. Now it is still lunchtime. When you see this machine here, this is the stone layer. We have one that laid the asphalt and this one lays the stone. So when you see this machine in position, laying down the stone, what this tells us is that we are at the final level of the stone laying aspect of the work. We have two sets of stones that are being laid. Earlier up you see where they have truckloads of stone dumped on the site down there. Well, that layer, it is being dumped there, and the grader just come and pushes them off, level them off, and then you have a compacting machine compacting them. After which you will have the guys come in and they start to lay down some steels like these and draw a line. This line will then act as a guide for this machine. As you can see one over there close to the machine, and this is where this machine starts to lay down the stone to the height and the level to where they want the stone to go. Now after this it will be compacted, and then after the compaction it will be sprayed with the asphalt oil, and then we have the first layer of asphalt, and after that we'll have the second layer of asphalt here on the runway to complete this work. So it is lunchtime, like I have told you. Everybody is on lunch now. Very soon we'll have the work here on this aspect of the stone lane starting back, because we have trucks down there waiting, loaded with stones, ready to dump into this machine and to have the work going forward. They are working from the north towards the south. They already covered the area of the 220, as you would know by now, and they're heading towards the one. Now you are seeing how much of the stoneworks that has been done coming from the north. This is on the 3rd kilometer, passing over the 220 tunnel and reaching as far as where we have that truck stopped there and reversing. So this is to tell you how much work that has been done. And you're coming around here and we're seeing where we have the 191 tunnel also, where stones have been laid on that area coming towards the north. So they are working on both sides. They're laying down the base stones actually down here. And what will happen now, the caterpillar, that grader will come and push all those stones off, just leveling them off, and then we have them compacted. And after they are compacted, we will have the stone laying machine coming in. Well, the surveyors will come in first and do the necessary measurement and levels, and then put down the steels, and so we will have the stone laying machine coming in afterwards and lay down the base stones. So I'm on top of the petroglyph hill looking back at the work that is taking place on the runway and other areas. It is supposed to be 1 o'clock or approaching 1 o'clock by now, and the workmen are heading back to their various areas where they are working. So I will get some of them in action when I go to that area where they are working. Has been done here this week. with the fencing here in this area. We had these holes here since last week. Nothing has been done. Well, as you can see on this, the northeastern side, little above north of the 220. Last week we just had the poles in, and this week now we have the meshes in. They are not yet secured with the brackets that come with them. They are just held in place with a piece of wire holding them together. So later on we're going to have the guys come in here and put on the clamps there on these meshes to hold them in place. So this is just, all of this is what is happening up here at the site. We have 3 different teams doing the fencing work. One coming to do the groundwork, which is planting the poles. Another one come put up the mesh, and a third one come and put in the barbed wire. So the work is going on here on this, the fencing work, as you would see, and I'm heading towards the north. I am on the inside of the fencing, because if I were to walk on the outside, I will have to go all the way up, somewhere up in the north, further up, before I could get back onto the inside. So I'm taking the inside route rather than taking the outside. But when I get up to the north, I'm going to give you a little view of what has taken place up there since my last visit. I am back up here at the northeastern side, where they're putting in the drain and also the fencing. Now you see they have put up some poles already. But last week when I visited here, apparently this idea of putting up the fencing was actually an afterthought, because what I'm seeing here now, where they would have run the blocks, they have to now chip out an area in order to put the fence in. If you recall, down at the Makoni hillside, when they run the blocks, they actually leave out that space because they had planned to put the fencing on the outer side of the blocks, which forms the drainage work. But apparently they didn't really think about it up here, because where they have already run blocks, you are seeing now where they have done the cutout so that they can now put the poles into those spaces and cast them into the outer side of this drain, which actually makes sense. It's much easier work than to go and drill a hole and everything. So you make one thing and done. So this is what happened to the poles that they already put in. So I guess that the rest of the work going around, they probably will do it that way, but I don't know. Now I guess you're seeing the new development here in this area. Last week when we were here, we noticed the guys were putting on the blocks, and I show you some steel on the side of the road, told you this is where the road is going to be. Now they would have done some filling up work here over the past week. As you can see, it's a little bit different, the filling up in some areas and the compaction. The guys are behind me doing the boxing. Now if you notice these blocks here on the side, they all are joined together, those on the outside. So I am not sure if they're going to do here the way they would have done that area coming up with the fencing. Now if this is how they're going to do it, they would have wasted a lot of time and a lot of material, because they could have put the space in the same time they were doing the work, more than having to come back now and cut out the blocks to make the space. But first of all, I thought they were going to put the fencing on the outside like they would have done in some area, but I have noticed that down below us, they're putting it on top of the outer blocks and running the fencing on the outer blocks itself. What the guys are doing right now, they're putting up the boxing coming up towards the north. They're putting up the boxing for the crowning, for the concrete works to crown over these blocks to keep the blocks together from breaking or cracking. So that is the work they are doing now, while the guys on the fencing guys are removing the boxing for the concrete that they have put in over the past week. So this is what we have taken place, and you're seeing where they would have filled up here or by the side of that. So this is going to be the roadway, and they have to be working on this area quickly, because very soon they'll have to have the closing of that area where they're having to use now as a temporary access road to get to Argyle and to the IADC office. They will have to close off that route and have a roadway up here so that vehicles can access the Argyle beach and the other area. I am down here where they have dug this trench, and above the road is going to pass, so there are going to be some sort of bridge works here. I don't know how they're going to do it. I see they have two different areas. I'm not too sure why it is done like this, but I can safely say that this one looks as though it is going to be the one that is going to take the water that is coming around from the northeast, and this one on the northwest, to bring all both connecting waters here and through this and over into the gully down there. But why was this one dug before, I don't know. There is actually a drain coming off the main road that is coming down on the side, so I'm not too sure how they're going to run to that one to bring that water down here. But what it looks like is as if this alignment is the new alignment for the drain that is coming all the way from out there, and they try to put it in a straighter line. The drain will be coming all the way from out there where the guys are now working on that drainage system out there. So we'll watch and see how things develop here, and as the work progresses, you're going to get a better idea as to what is taking place. I've been telling you about a drain coming off the main road and coming down onto the side. Now this is the drain here that is coming from the main road and is heading down on to the site up here on the northwestern end, sorry, of the airport. Now you're seeing where the water ends out. So therefore, there has to be a drainage system linking up down there towards the one we have them now doing, to take this water from off the road onto down to the gully into the sea. I'm here at the corner bar looking back at the Argyle airport site. Now the corner bar is just as you enter Peruvianville, where you have that sign saying welcome to Peruvianville. There's a bar right on your right hand side which is called the corner bar. Now I am looking back at the airport site from the north towards the south, and as you can see here in our video, just below us down here, work is going on there where they're making the trench for the drain, and further out on the northeastern side, the guys are putting up, they're working on the drainage system in that area. So this is the view we will have of the airport site from the north end, in the area where we have the corner bar just as you enter Peruvianville. from the looks of things here, it means that we have another layer of stone base to go on. Earlier up I told you that where you see the stone layer laying down the stone, that is the final layer. But when I come up here now and I look at it, I am seeing right here where we're supposed to have another layer of stone because of the difference between the level of these stones here. So most likely what is actually taking place now, that seems to be the first layer of stone. So then the stone laying machine will have to come in again and lay down more stones. It looks as though in that area where it is flat, where we have a level, they're using the paver, the stone paver, to put down the stone. And in areas where we don't have that sort of level, where it's a sink more or less, the level is not that good, they're dumping the stones, and then we have the stone layer come in and lay down the rest of the stones. But we still have another layer of stones to go here. This is the first layer, as you are seeing through from up here on the north side, and then after that we're going to have the asphalt work going in and the different layer of asphalt, first coat and second coat and all of that to complete this aspect of the work. But where I'm at, I am here at the area where they would have done the second layer of asphalt work on the north side of the runway, looking back towards the south, the area of where we have the 220 channel, where they have built up the river. All in front of us here used to be where we had the river bank and the river running just below. Now the river has been channeled through the tunnels, and now we have this area which was filled up with dirt and now leveled off over the past, since August last year this was going on. And now we are seeing the transformation of this area where we once had a river coming down from somewhere up there in that area. The river is still coming down in that area, but it is going straight down under the 220 tunnel. But before all of this work was done, the river used to come down right where you're looking at up there and coming across the bankside, way more over here where I'm standing, and heading over down into the other side where the river now exited through the tunnel. So this is the progress of the work you have here right now. The compacting machine is compacting one side, that is the side onto the eastern side, and there is no sort of activity regarding stoneworks taking place here right now. Apparently they would have completed that section they were doing, and now the compacting machine is actually compacting. So in future we're going to have more stones laying down on this area and bringing it up to the level to the runway behind us, and then we're going to start seeing the pavement works with the asphalt. I am here on the western side of the 220. Actually I'm standing on top of the 220. This is the concrete area, and this area is yet to be filled. This area here is where we're going to have the fencing passing, and we're having some earthworks taking place, the filling up of the siding of this side here, where the side of the 220. And just a while ago, that caterpillar you see there on the hill was pushing down the bank side. Actually the side of this bank here, it is pushing it away, pushing the dirt into this area, and very soon we're going to have this area all filled up, leveled, and probably flush with the height of this wall here that is at the beginning of the 220 tunnel. There's a similar wall like this at the eastern end, and already that area has been filled with dirt, and the holes for the poles have already been planted on the inner side of the fence on the eastern end, on the inner side of the 220 tunnel down on the eastern end. So most likely the similar thing is going to happen up here when this area is complete. Currently they are dumping truckloads upon truckloads of dirt on the side there as they continue to fill up this area here and bring it to the level where they want it to come. It's 6:15 and I'm still here now. We have the day shift has finished their task, and what you are having now is the night shift, and I understand that they work until 12 o'clock. Actually they're supposed to start working from 4 to 12, but seem as though they start their work here from 6 and going on to 12. So here we have the drill is still on the hill up there drilling, and the trucks are being loaded with stones, and they're taking these stones to various areas on the site where they are needed. So this is what we have here happening. The stone crushing plant has just started, so we're going to have some crushing of aggregates later on this evening, and also we have the trucks moving stuff from here, the Makonyami Hill, and taking them on top of the area where the stone crushing plant is, and some of these same stones are being used to be crushed to make the aggregate. So I'm still hanging around here a little bit after 6. Like, I don't want to leave, but I just want to bring you up to speed as to what is taking place here today, Saturday, the 5th day of March 2016 at the Argyle Airport